Bloom Energy is a thesis that revolves around speed to compute. So there is a race to get compute online because the demand for compute globally is insatiable. And most people like myself feel like we are going to be short compute for years and years and years. And that's why big tech is spending $650 billion this year to build out more compute. However, compute is bottlenecked by energy. And what's happening right now is a lot of cities and counties are saying, hey, if you data centers are going to suck up all this energy, you can't do that and also screw the people that live here and the small businesses by having their energy rates go up by 2x. So there's this new kind of legislation that's popping up in cities called you got to bring your own energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to build a data center here, fine, but figure out your own energy. You're not tapping into our grid. You're not going to increase our energy cost for our residents. Bloom Energy is one of the only companies in the world that has a method to essentially bring almost an infinite amount of energy to these data centers. And we won't get into all the technology, but they are now working with hyperscalers, and they are a resource for energy that will allow a data center to get ramped up quicker. So even though it costs a little bit more money today to put an energy cell from Bloom, an energy box from Bloom, which are energy cells, it essentially takes things like natural gas, but instead of burning the natural gas, there is a chemical process that turns that natural gas into energy for the data center. And it's just a fascinating technology they've been working on for 20 years. So Bloom is the theoretical fix to this big energy problem. Now, the other theoretical fix is nuclear. And you've seen all these nuclear companies. You've seen small modular nuclear reactor companies. I think, at crazy valuations, right? Because that's the other fix. But that fix is still a few years away from being deployed, where Bloom is deployable like right now today. And that's why Bloom is up, 600-700% over the course of the last year. Now, that said, Bloom is not a technology company. They are a technology company, but they're not perceived as a technology company historically by Wall Street. So they have energy analysts covering them who do not believe in artificial intelligence for the most part. The technology analysts don't really understand Bloom because they're not covering Bloom. So it's this weird company that was an energy company, but actually they're a technology company and should be covered like a technology company. So it's really volatile. The stock trades all over the place because nobody really fully understands it. So one of my very close friends spent, I would say, 5 months deeply researching Bloom, wrote one of the most comprehensive reports on Bloom Energy. And fortunately, he just happened to be a close friend of mine. And I spent a lot of time with him and got to learn a lot about Bloom. And that's why I made a big bet on Bloom this last year.
Can we just link that down below?
Yeah. Jianshu Dong. And I think I've retweeted his report. I think it sits on LinkedIn.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just link it down below if you guys want to read it there. What would you say are the other most mispriced assets right now?
I think all the AI stocks are potentially mispriced because there's a lot of confusion and a lot of doubt and a lot of concern about the unknowns around AI. I continue to think that this super cycle is going to be bigger than anything we ever experienced in our lifetime, and that NVIDIA, Amazon, Oracle, Meta, Google, I think all of them are going to benefit way more than we're anticipating, but there are risks. Each of those companies has risks. Like Oracle and Microsoft have concentration risk related to OpenAI. If OpenAI doesn't raise, $100 billion and have a successful IPO, then they simply won't have the capital to spend on compute and data centers that are in the earnings projections for Oracle and Microsoft. Amazon is fairly concentrated into Anthropic, right? Anthropic builds their models on top of Amazon's Trainium chip. And if something bad happens to Anthropic, that could be a big negative for Amazon. Now, by the way, there's rumors out this week that, we're about to see DeepSeek 4 come out, right? And it's going to be 20 times more efficient than the US models. And you'll be able to do the same thing with a lot less compute. The same way we had the DeepSeek scares, remember, like a year ago, we're having those same scares. That could be something that completely wrecks the market in the AI trade. However, I believe that long term, the cheaper compute gets, we're just going to come up with more things to do with it. So if you make compute 10 times cheaper, we will come up with 100x the ways to utilize that compute. If we figure out how to make compute so cheap that Hollywood can make an amazing movie that you cannot decipher from a real film, and they could literally make the whole movie on a computer without having any of the actors have to take 4 months off of their life, I think that will happen. And then if the compute gets so cheap that that could be done by anyone, I think it will be done by anyone. And then if we get to a point where every single human gets their own version of that movie with their own favorite actors, and maybe they're in the movie, I think we will go there. I don't know how far we're going to go with what we can create in our minds of what would be an enriching, amazing life to have on this earth. But I have absolute confidence that every time we figure out how to make this cheaper and better, that we are going to come up with a new use case for it that's even cooler, that's going to need more of it. That's my overall thesis on AI and why I'm going all in on these stocks.
Now, really quick, every business is asking themselves the same question. How do we make AI work for us? The possibilities are limitless, but guessing is too risky, and sitting on the sidelines is not an option, because one thing is certain. If you're not doing it, your competitors are already making their move.
And that's where our sponsor NetSuite by Oracle comes in. It's the #1 AI cloud ERP, trusted by over 43,000 businesses to manage everything from financials and inventory to commerce, HR, and CRM, all in one unified system.
When all of your data is in one place, your AI becomes a lot smarter. It doesn't just guess. It knows. NetSuite intelligently automates routine tasks, delivers real-time insights, and helps you make fast, confident decisions that actually help drive growth.
And it's not just an add-on, it's AI that's literally built right into the system that runs your business, helping you cut costs, improve accuracy, and stay ahead of the competition.
Whether your company is making millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite gives you visibility and control to keep moving forward. Honestly, if I were building a business of this size, NetSuite's the only company that I have 100% confidence in.
So if your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, get our completely free business guide, Demystifying AI, at netsuite.com/clips.
Again, the guide is free for you at netsuite.com/clips, netsuite.com/clips, with the link down below in the description.